you haven't met, but you know, we agree that Mad Dog is a very, you know, he's a very smart person. Do we agree on that?
No,
You don't like Mad Dog?
I didn't say I didn't like him.
Okay, but you
You
don't.
asked me if he's a person.
Okay.
That's different than not liking.
How do you rate his knowledge of MLMs then out of 10?
I'd give him about a 3.
A 3. Okay. How do you rate his just general intelligence? Because I have him picked as a guy that's very, very intelligent, articulate. Um, yeah, I urge him to do more MLM stuff. I'm disappointed that he hasn't. How do you rate him like overall? His channel is what he's done on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I've seen a little bit of his YouTube, and he's a sports guy, so you know that's good. That's what he's interested in, and that's what he wants to do. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Um, Rate it. I just say, okay, that's your thing. You know, go for it. If you're not interested in helping people not get scammed by MLMs like you were, then go do your. That you know, I've come across that many, many, many times with different people over the years.
Yeah.
Where they sort of give their 2 cents and then they're gone.
Yep.
And that's not a recipe for success. You know,
But
a recipe for success is many more people becoming much more serious and really being active versus, you know, a one-shot wonder.
okay, but I guess in fairness to him, I mean he's a younger guy than you. I don't know his circumstances. My understanding is that he's a guy that works a job. He's also a YouTuber. He's got a family to support, so he can't spend all day on MLMs. He can't, you know, he just doesn't have the time. If he did, it would hurt him financially. But you've got to give. I mean, the fact that he's got 125,000 subscribers, that's a very, very hard thing to do. So I think he disproves your theory that Marco's audience are a bunch of dummies who don't understand things. He's a highly intelligent man who, you know, has achieved something that there's lots of people that would like to have a sports channel on YouTube and have tried and haven't got anywhere near 125,000 subscribers. That's an incredibly big effort what he's done. So, you know, credit where credit's due. But you know, I think you're being very unfair on Marco's audience, and you know, I think you should reconsider that opinion.
Well, I didn't say every single individual.
Yep.
I said many of them take drugs. Many of them have mental issues. I didn't say all of them. I've never said that.
How can you gauge that someone's got mental issues or takes drugs from what they're saying on Marco's channel? Because when I'm watching or listening, they're not talking. I can't remember the last time I heard someone in a Marco live talk about I'm doing drugs now or I've done drugs. They're talking about MLMs.
Pretty much any time the subject of drugs comes up on Marco's channel, that's when they start talking about it in the comments section.
Okay.
So it's not all the time.
Yep.
But when discussion from Marco is around drugs, then you got a bunch of people chiming in talking about, oh yeah, I have this drug problem and that drug problem, or he's talking about, you know, mental, you know, capabilities, you know, mental issues. Oh yeah, been going to, you know, a psychiatrist for 5 years. Oh yeah, I've been taking medications for my whatever condition.
Okay.
So it's not constant. It's when the topic comes up, that's when you hear, where you read all the comments about their own personal.
But if 1,000 people in the live and 2 people talk about doing drugs, it's still a very low percentage. You know? But I must again, I haven't seen or heard anyone in a Marco video talk about doing drugs. But maybe I need to pay closer attention. But I mean, even if they have taken drugs, it doesn't mean they don't have something to offer in an MLM discussion. You know, someone who's done drugs, you know, can still be knowledgeable and have something to contribute in a discussion about MLMs. A lot of people, you know, take drugs once or twice and don't do it again. A lot of people might do it for a long period and then they realize it's the wrong thing to do and they stop doing it. So I think it's wrong.
Well, most of the people making comments are talking about their current drug usage.
Okay.
So they're not operating with a clear mind. They're taking drugs. They're being entertained. And that's really all they're there for. and so you can't expect them to be charging away and, basically being a leader as far as
Yeah, I was saying. So
discussion about MLM scams. It doesn't make any sense.
So
Because
you basically think that if they weren't drug affected, they'd be more likely to listen to you, and that their knowledge, basically, if they weren't listening to Marco and they were instead listening to you and Peter Mingles, they would have a much better understanding of the reasons why MLM companies have hurt millions of people and why there's a 99.7% loss rate. Is that how you feel?
Well, I don't focus on the 99.7% loss rate as much as you do.
Okay,
But
if
more about scams than what Marco is talking about.
So hang on. So basically, if they listen to you and they were to actually listen to you, what you had to say, and then research what you had to say, you'd feel like they'd have a much greater understanding of the MLM industry than what they do currently. So they're making an error by not listening to what you have to say.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. All right, I'll stop that recording.